Okay, I think you got a good view here. Space Needle and I was going to go down to the Alamo Dome, which is right down the street. The parking is very hard, and you got a nice view here. And being I'm in San Antonio, this might be the last video, depending. The big news story, it's windy, I'll talk loud. The big news story is the Republican lady by the name of Handel won the special election against Jon Ossoff. And that's a big news story because it does deal with media bias, and it deals with how the media was, for months or for a long time, they've been talking about this special election. So far, since Trump has gotten in, there have been 5 Democrats that were challenging Republicans for seats. 5 special elections. 2 Republicans won 2 more yesterday. So in a total out of the 5, Republicans won them all. And the media was basically, the Democrats spent $30 million on Jon Ossoff. Why? Was he such a great candidate? I think it's Georgia. No, they were trying to give a narrative that the country now is in revolt against Donald Trump, and all of the midterm elections, the Republicans are going to lose everything. And so to spend $30 million, which is outrageous, that was the whole reason why for a few weeks now, CNN and other media, they've been talking about him, and this is going to be the end of Trump and all this stuff. Now, I'm not a big Trump supporter, but all I wanted you to see was media. That's why I talk about this. And CNN, I checked the news before I left the house. The top headline on CNN about the loss, meaning Trump won, his people won, and the Democrats lost. The top story was the Democrat Ossoff lost, and now, because of that, it's going to be easier for Trump to pass Trumpcare, which the country is in rebellion against Trumpcare. I'm exaggerating some. So the top story, if the Democrat won, the media would be so happy. They would be reporting. But instead, they said, maybe the people that voted for the Republican Handel, maybe it's just because out of anger, knowing that Trumpcare will kill millions of kids and women, maybe that's what drove them. And I'll be honest, I think the media is driving the anti-Democrat vote and the way they collude, okay? Now, when I come to San Antonio, I do put on the talk radio from San Antonio as well. Most talk radio is conservative, okay? But they had a very good discussion about the Castile shooting, which now, it was police dash cam that was released, and it's kind of brought the entire shooting of Castile, the black man that was shot 7 times. The officer fired. Yanez was the officer, fired into the vehicle. The talk radio out of San Antonio, they had a retired San Antonio police officer come on to give his view, and he brought something out. This is why it's good to have real discussions, okay? The San Antonio police officer, who you might think would be more supportive of the officer Yanez, who killed Castile, he said there are some other problems in this stop that the cop made. One was Yanez, the officer, they were looking for somebody that was involved in an armed robbery and kind of maybe fit the description of Castile. But the San Antonio retired officer said, in training, not just San Antonio training, you have what's called national standards. The fire department kind of had NFP, I forget the name, but there's sort of like national standards that you're supposed to go by if you're an officer or if you're a firefighter. And this cop from San Antonio said, if you were actually in pursuit of felon armed robbery suspect, you would never approach the vehicle like Officer Yanez approached Castillo's vehicle, walking right up to the window like that. And he said that was just a violation of policy. Now that the dash cam has been released, it's quite obvious that whatever defense Yanez gave, you can hear it on the dash cam that no, what the girlfriend said was true. That he said, I do have a weapon, but I'm reaching for my license, all that. So we got a lot more insight into that, okay? And that's a discussion. I'll mention just a few local things. I mean, I got the video on. I have a teaching video coming up tomorrow. I was going to post it today, and you'll see some of my friends. And then I'm teaching through the chapters of the Bible. And I saw the guys all day pretty much yesterday. And the last few days I've seen them. I haven't done a lot of videos, but I've been with them. Look, the problems that we have in Corpus Christi with crime and other things. You know, I have friends that sometimes they get, you know, in altercations with one another, okay? And sometimes when those things happen, I'm aware, you know, I know this one is, you know, not getting along with this one. And there's an older man. Now, I won't give his name. He might be following my website a little bit now. But he's been around for a couple years, and I really just met him recently. And one of my homeless friends, Albert, works for this older man. And that's how I knew about him. And he also used to tell this older man, Albert would tell him about John, you know, I guess he talked about me. And just maybe 2 months ago, I met him for the first time because he was broken down, needed a jump start. But he's got a business. He used to live on Padre Island. It's an interesting story. I won't mention the name. But then he was telling me, I got to know him a little. Eventually, he moved off of Padre Island into Flower Bluff. And then he realized, he said, you know, John, I was renting here, but I realized I can do everything from my truck. All the business that he does, legal business. He's got a lot of storage units. I think he owns a shrimp boat. And so I kind of got to know his story. And when he just basically said, he's a retired man. He said, look, I can do all my work out of my truck. And so he's not homeless. He is, but that's how it wound up, and it's kind of interesting. And a few years ago, I helped some friends the other day move some stuff out of, into storage. They had some old pictures of our friends who died over there. One of them was called Don. Don died about 1.5 years ago. A few others. When Don died, there were witnesses how one of my other friends had beat Don. They found him dead in the park. Now they all know each other, and it's sort of like the Tennessee case in Durkin. But the old man also, now I'm still friends, the guy that was accused of killing Don, I just was with him yesterday, day before. I talked to him. The old man, he's a little perceptive. That's why I told you a little bit of his story. And he says he doesn't talk to that other homeless person specifically because he thinks he got away with murder. The old man said, for some reason, he might have like connections with the cops. And that maybe that's why he got away with that killing. And it all took place right there where we're all at every day. And it just made me think that the old man, who's a smart man, retired, even that's what he did. Now, I'm not saying the cops covered up a murder, but it's possible that if people have connections things don't get investigated as well, stuff like that. The Castile case. If that was a white man in the vehicle that was known to be an outstanding member of society, that killing happened in that way, which was mistaken identity, led that Yanez to violate policy according to the San Antonio cop I just heard on the radio, then Yanez would be in jail. He would have been convicted of manslaughter. But because of all of the stuff that happens in this country, Yanez is out. He's no longer going to work for the police department that he worked for, but he can go on and work at another department. And as you watch the video today, the new dash cam that was released, why do you think black people are angry in the country? You understand? Regardless of Yanez, that cop being upset, something set him off. Even if he made the mistake, which he obviously did, thinking that Castillo was reaching for a gun, that still should be manslaughter, because you violated policy by approaching a vehicle that you had a felony suspect, okay? See how that played. Our local area, I just gave you that one little thing about the old man. There's others I've talked about, and when things happen, many years ago when I worked with the guys in Kingsville, I had friends that used to rob, and sometimes they rob good stuff, bad stuff. But a few times they told me, John, because you helped us, we're going to let you have, one time somebody was going to just give me money or something. I said I could never take anything that is stolen, or I said I could never do that. I had my friend Andy ask me about 3 weeks ago. A lot of people on the streets, they sell their food stamps. It's common. They have a card, but they sell it. They say, I'll buy somebody $30 of food and maybe they'll give me $20. Now, that happens common. I told my friend, I said, no, I wouldn't do it. I just said, no, I don't do it because it's not right to do. Later, my friend told me, said, it's funny, John, because there's a lady that's in ministry and she regularly does it for me. That stuck with him, that little thing of me saying I wouldn't do it. And I used to tell the guys in Kingsville when they had maybe illegal things going on, I said I would, even if you gave me something that was of great value, I said, I'd be encouraging you to continue in your lifestyle if I took that. And one of my friends, and I know it was true, there was a commissioner back in the 80s, and he also owned a business. I knew the man. He used to purchase stolen goods from the guys. One of my friends, I'm not going to give the name, I think he's dead. And I think it's one that's unreported. And I wouldn't go report that he's dead or missing, because they have their own things these guys deal with. But I wonder if, I told him once, there might be homicides that take place in our community that go unreported. I said that about a year ago. And I didn't say that for no reason. And when my friends get in altercations, and when they cross the line with one another, I'm not afraid to report anything, but that's not what I do, okay? When they stab each other and Tennessee's almost dead, I try to just not cover up crimes. But when I realized that even people that are connected, because there was a business lady that actually hired one of my friends once to do something. Violence on someone that didn't pay a bill. Prominent business person. This is Corpus. And I think, and even the friend that told me that, he said, can you believe they would do that, John? Even though we are in where we are at. So yes, they do stuff like that. So today I'll end it. I wanted to do the update. That's really the big news, the Ossoff thing. The media played it for months. This is the end of Trump. They need to stop. Just now on the news, right before I turn the video on, we have another intelligence agency saying, yes, we knew. But not only did they know the Russians tried to hack and all, fine, I agree with that. But then they said, and we know it was at the direction of Putin. Look, we don't know that. We don't know it was at the direction of Putin. You'd have to have some evidence to know that. But that's the game. That's the game. When I comment on all these issues, because not political. If Ossoff won, I couldn't have cared less. Am I rejoicing that? No. It's the manipulation that goes on. It's the games that are played. Okay? The teaching that I'm going to do next is going to be, tomorrow I'm going to do Acts 15, I'm going to teach it. I have another post coming up tomorrow. And then I'm going to do Kings, chapter 8. And maybe a little, I like Kings 8. It's got a little more teaching in it, a little more than some of the other chapters. But, oh, Pop just pulled somebody over right there. I might get stopped here on the side. But Solomon, when I teach it next week, that Solomon finally consolidates the temple. But he gives this great prayer. And part of it is, God, you know our hearts. And may your eyes always be open to the prayers that are made in this place. It's great intercession from King Solomon. And then it says, the people that carried us captive, you showed us compassion, and you delivered us, so we might show compassion upon those that wronged us or abused us or took advantage of us, those who carried us captive. All these issues we speak about. Compassion is not covering up corruption. Compassion is shining a light that things can come out and be healed. And when we have decisions like the Castillo thing, and now the dash cam came out, there was like 2 or 3 cops that I passed up coming out here, or they passed me up. Don't you realize that there's a lot of black people in this country that have to be worried that maybe some officer will jump the gun and shoot his gun? And then when it all comes out in public, it's considered he did no wrong. That's exactly, there should have been a manslaughter on that man. Not that we're mean, not that society, no. The mother of Castillo, of course she's outraged. There are actually protests going on in the streets, but the mainstream media hasn't covered it. I saw those protests from Democracy Now! So yes, we pray that God would have mercy and that truth would prevail, corruption would be uncovered, and that righteousness would come. Martin Luther King used to quote that scripture. It's from the Old Testament. That righteousness would pour down, that the light would shine, that justice. God loves mercy and he loves justice. The verse I quote a lot from Micah. He hath shown thee, O man, what is good and what the Lord requires of you, how to do justice and to love mercy and to walk humbly with our God. Apostle Allen yesterday, this is probably going to be the last one. Apostle Allen yesterday told me, I seen him, he was kind of sick, I prayed for him. He's got shingles. But you know, he told me, sometimes, yes, he's critical of the pastors, you know, he knows a lot of the people I know. He says, you know, a lot of these pastors, John, they're on the internet, or they're doing their websites, He wasn't talking about me. He knows I do a website, but I'm out in the streets. He says, and then in the church building, he says they need to be out in society. Look, I agree. As I'm teaching the book of Acts, you see Paul gets beaten, gets thrown out of cities. He's out in the streets. He's out in the streets. I think leadership in the church should take Apostle Allen's advice. Begin to interact. Don't be afraid to be out with people. This is not just a criticism, I mentioned it before, of PD. But a lot of the churches have cops for security. When I go to the Catholic Cathedral, historic cathedral, there are no officers on security there. There's nothing that takes place there that's violent that would take place, that's not taking place anywhere else. Rethink that. Rethink having officers for security. And there's a few churches that I attend every so often that do that. But just rethink that. There's some leadership in your church. I don't carry a gun, but I'm saying there's leadership in your church. Strong men, if something happened, they can get up. But most of all, trust God. Just trust God. I think that's a sign of fear. That pastors are intimidated in a way. There's a fear. There's a lot of people in ministry are consumed with, I want my ministry to take off. I want the finances on. And there's almost like a fear. And you got to get past that. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yeah, I will help thee. Yeah, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. Believe that word, okay? As we speak today, if it's the last one, believe that word. Don't have fear. Overcome. A lot of my friends are living out there every day in the midst of everything. Some are Christians. Okay? I pray a blessing over everybody. Pray a blessing over this city. I might be here for a while. Just pray for the kingdom of God to come. In Jesus' name.